it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do? We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing? Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillat sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went... Not at all. I'm well aware... Yes, inside the Opera House.
A riot?
Well, that said, Lady Farina was watching a performance loudly accusing her of doing nothing about... And before she could respond, the crowd continued to grow.
So people have started...
I agree.
So what happened after the...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control, the Marechaussee Phantom had their hands...
So, you mean she's still...
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. Good. Monsieur Nervillat...
Don't worry, this is more...
Is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to... And as we also... When Nervillat was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about... It would be hard for her to... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the Huh! Well, what do you think? Paimon knows it. In that case, there's not a moment to lose. This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here is... Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there! She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Did they even dare to tout their Archon? I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchal say...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just... that's against the...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is...
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they'd...
Yep, that...
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's...
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made...
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for... I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts prove to be futile. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. Give up. Indeed. I've thought about giving. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? But just now, it all became clear. As long as the final moment, don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the strict. Don't take any of what I just said seriously.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you...
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the... A witness. Yes, I've And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your refusal? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how utterly...
Lady Farina!
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again?
I raised my hands just now. I will admit, I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only ones to... But now, it is I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time, I applaud and rejoice. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial.
Woohoo! Oh, now we're... Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia,
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into... Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of... we arranged for...
So, you mean...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may...
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the opera, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake.
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and also that as soon as I appeared on the...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Cloran, I must commend you for your courage. Only the
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto... Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument! Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. This is the first time Monsieur Nervilette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervilette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Fauchelor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that if you wish to drop...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the
First of all, you may be a member of an...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the name?
A curse. I once thought it possible that the... But in light of this claim...
Neville had sensed it too, huh?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said. Besides, for centuries, one need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house. Or
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the—
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the
I never thought.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor, instead of having been created by you, the manifest—
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is—
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
My power.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons drop. Thus did I give up.
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can...
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's...
Hey, come now, everyone! Please, I'm still the same Furina, please.
If what the prosecutor said...
Did she deceive all of us?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no...
Wow. It has been established that all—
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and—
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, including... So, Miss, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real... But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has...
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution.
Well, of course you had to tell her that. But
she's just staring at the water with
What's going on? Is she really
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady.
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now?
Miss Siegewin, if you're...
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of... She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina...
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get to...
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to... We don't want anyone else to...
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low concentration... It's a great thing that the direct sample...
I can't believe... Listen to me, everyone. Please think about it. Also, it... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says it.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway me. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cod... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also...
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact to be punished via the...
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. Is this sentence really a...
Yeah! Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, but now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberate...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Bermain! Oh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. And...
Is that the first? Huh. So the...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the... But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Bermain. Please allow me... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other exist...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? So when you say Hydro Archon...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine... However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they...
Okay, let's try to recall... The first stone slate describes what you just said. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? The second stone slate shows this must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontaine... The third slate shows the Hydro Archon... Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy. We didn't believe that such a crazy... That doesn't sound...
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. This might...
That doesn't sound... That doesn't sound... That doesn't sound... That doesn't sound...
Perhaps what is the true sin of the Hydra and the original...
That doesn't sound...
It's not as simple. When Navia fell into the sea, the stones... The prophecy from the stone, the fortress of Marib, if we hadn't dealt with it in time...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court. Shocking. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Maripede was the stone slate's contents can all be verified by... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But then it feels...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're...
All Fontainians were originally created. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontaine... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon...
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like... So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also fall... In the end, did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their However, even though not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial sea, but if Fontanians... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine...
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death?
This really might be too much information for your regular
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individual... They have not been dissolved, which implies that the nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience when she fell into the sea. Therefore, the meaning that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court. Yes,
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything we've done has...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what.
If that's the case,
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already... This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must...
It was both dream...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that...
The truth, the original sin.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your...
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is... That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed... It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, It decided to make its next stop a pack.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the.
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed,
We've already done everything we've come so far.
Indeed. That's not how a grand-
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be for. Just as prophecy. Ultimately, fate shall serve.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too—
You are not Farina.
the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous.
Fusolo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Good. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, she knew full well that the prophecy, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly prince. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that, although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered. The me you see before you now is that divinity. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Her strengths were of a kind but in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in anyway, so then all part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the... Do you still remember the final scene of the in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the...
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is... I cannot be...
It has indeed. And although she is, it's been 500... And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely...
One with nature.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to stick... Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor, the eyes of countless Fontanians... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough. No, my sword!
Show them, right now. I'm always watching.
The wind knows me.
Emerge, right here, right now.
Time to go.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Into the wind.
Rain cutter. Emerge.
Clouds high. The birds call. One with nature.
Right here. Emerge. Hey! Right now. Emerge.
Farina. Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you? Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before. Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be? Near me. The prophecy. What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And what's going on? Yes, it will. But doesn't that mean everyone will die? Oh, don't. I will tell you how. As for the suffering, but if there were scale. I suppose this would all. Don't worry. Play at. That's right. If you can keep it up. But. Don't worry. Being a human yourself, remember. So, how to accomplish this, but a trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most appear? I'm sure you've all heard about, in truth, as the god Focalor, the god once again. Thank you all for this. I thought I might
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just...
Wait, what's going on? Right. Mirmis, calm down, Farina. Think assertive, with a strong... Now, I was wondering if some weak... Well, you may consider my previous act a... Now then!
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an
personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before. Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation sin. The scales of justice should not. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. There is no trouble so long as I, the
Lady Farina, here are today's case report.
Come now, was I not just... Besides, none...
If I may be so impertinent.
A magnificent...
That's true,
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, to...
Lady Farina,
No need to think. All right.
He's do. Yeah.
Lady Farina, you're the...
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner of signs. Really?
I'm... afraid...
The day is finally over. But it's good to see that maybe this is fine.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases as well.
There'll be no...
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep monitoring. I don't think I let any... I feel utterly...
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great... What is it?
Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of...
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined, have I? I want to tell Sky of Conduct. All I can do is keep heart.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder although I don't know what...
Share. That's impossible.
But even if you're burdened, just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that, it... He's right. But if things don't play out... No, Farina. You shouldn't... But what if... Farina, you've worked... Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find... If you let this opportunity slip through your... Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once...
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heaven... She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these... It seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of
Good, good. Of course the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the... I'm sure you've long sensed that the oratories...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a human... It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem... Alas, your understanding... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories take down the... I mean, did you think at my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the vast majority has been, had to be.
It was all part of your plan then?
Indeed. This power accrued over 5 centuries, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not...
Returning what's rightfully yours. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sacked. The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours. What?
All you've done throughout the years is...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm... Hydro Dragon, I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly prince. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly... I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not... Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontaine... In other words... Defying the prophecy. At this point, Iudex Neuvillette.
So when I was invited to the... At last. I now... In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside... You are a deviant. Things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Codex Nouvellette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever.
It's time to end this. We must meet.
Didn't you say just...
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, come with me, Traveler. The hour of... Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the game. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
The wind knows me.
Right here, right now.
One with nature.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Nothing lasts forever.
Time to go. Into the wind. Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power of Gua.
The wind knows me.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Blistering cold.
I see everything.
No, my sword!
As one with wind and cloud.
Right here.
Make yourselves a move.
Right now. Right here. Right now.
One with nature. Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would... Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point.
That power. Who are you?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said, it's just that he gave us the impression that she was...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat... So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial water. That kind of power is wasted on it. All in all, it fails.
Miss Skirk?
The point being...
Well, being that this pet... So what sort of person is your master? Well, child...
Oh, right. So his name is Sir Tologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So master isn't sufficiently famous.
The fowl?
Still nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine Doctor's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom!
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. That the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its... Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely... In other words, the prophecy that...
What?
Not to worry. Fos...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong! The prophecy was wrong!
Are you alright?
We're safe. The prophecy
was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Svina di Rasula attacks post-disaster old soil skyship winglet, Booner Bane of the Fun, the various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin. People always call the first Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really true?
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the value for these big scoops lies in their Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you to...
Are you sure?
Oh, this time will be different.
Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home.